This is your host Sreem bin Mohammad Rafi, and here is my YouTube channel Zamir Universal. Those who still think that there is any decency, any even feeling left for another human being, and you are not dealing with beasts and animals and the worst and the scum of the society, worse than Adolf Hitler, and lying, liars, and you can see for themselves this, in this self-destruction, what they have been doing to the culture of the Palestinian people, and how could they just be only for October the 7th? Can anybody in the world think that you would destroy the culture which is hundreds and thousands years old? And I'll show you the glimpse and the documentary, the best documentary I have seen, produced by Al Jazeera, both how they destroyed culture of Gaza, culture of Palestine, how they stole the artifacts, how the Moshe Dayan, how Netanyahu, how all the prime ministers before them, and they sold it in the open market, how they destroyed their mosque, their museums, their oldest mosque after the Masjid al-Aqsa, they targeted and destroyed that, the universities, the hospitals. You can see for yourself what they wanted was to destroy that so that it becomes uninhabitable, it becomes like a desert, so that they can go and sell that desert, and so that their women can walk over there with napkins and bikinis. What a hell this is, what a scam, this simply thrown out of this world. They are not a part of this planet. No wonder for thousands of years they've been thrown out in many countries more than once, and they were the most disliked people on earth are these Jews. Now the real Jews want to quit that. The chief rabbi wants to spit on the face of Netanyahu, and he doesn't want any of those Jews who really believe in Torah to fight in IDF, and they said they will leave in that. Already about half the left who have dual nationality, when they leave, there are only a few thousand of these rascals, these idiots, these warmongers, these war criminals, these people who are bloodsuckers, parasites, and genocide, and this they are the only one will be inhabited there, and you will enclave them like rats, and that is their punishment now. And this decade is going to see the fall of a number of countries, which I am not just going to predict here, right? Number one is going to be the United States, broken into pieces. The one state which has trillions and trillions of its own money from the oil, which is greater than the total receipts which the United States of America receives, they will be fighting with this. They will be the first one to separate, and the next one will be California. And that will be the start of disintegration of the United States of America, and it will be in their own doing. And it will be Joe Biden's time which will be remembered in history as the blackest period in the world, because he's a liar, he's a cheater. He himself said he is the greatest Zionist. So imagine yourself, how can he be Christian? How can Jill Biden have any sympathy and faith? And he says that she is the best woman in my life when she sees that her husband is eating the dead Palestinian Gazan children at his breakfast, at his lunch, and at his dinner. And that is why 99% of his cabinet in the White House is the Jews, and none of them is a non-Jew except that the Secretary of Defense, and that he just kept it as a colored man, otherwise, and only to get their votes from the non-whites. Otherwise he would have even thrown him out and got another Jew at the Defense Secretary as well.
And then you've got the Israeli army, which I like to refer to as one of the best trained, best equipped, best fed terrorist organizations in the world. And yes, they have generals and they have nice uniforms, but their entire purpose is terrorism. And just as one example, I'll give you one example. Almost exactly 4 years ago, as Israel began its attack on Gaza, September the 27th, 2008, at 11:25 in the morning, what I refer to as the most shameful day in the Jewish history, the most shameful day in the history of the Jewish people. Israel began carpet bombing Gaza, and on the first day of what was to be a 21-day attack, they dropped 100 tons of bombs. Okay, a 1-ton bomb will decimate an entire city block. Gaza is one of the most densely populated places in the world. 800,000 children live in Gaza. 11:25 is exactly the time when the morning school shift and the afternoon school shift change. So all the kids are in the streets. All the children are on the streets. That was the moment decided by the decision makers in Israel to begin the attack.
The animals.
Yeah.
Who are the animals, Cenk? Who are the animals? Because I'm getting real sick of people on social media referring to Palestinian civilians as animals. Because every story that we've covered, everything that we've investigated and looked into, does not really show Palestinians behaving as animals. It shows the IDF behaving as animals. People who feel real good about themselves, shooting their weapons at desperate people as they swarm a humanitarian aid truck.
What difference is there between Arabs who were on this side of the Jordan and the other side of the Jordan? Arabs in the East Bank and the west of the border of the West Bank? I mean, when were Palestinians born? What was all this area before the First World War? When Britain got the mandate over Palestine, what was Palestine then? Palestine was then the area between the Mediterranean and the Iraqi border.
You say there is no such thing as a
East
Palestinian?
and West Bank, no. East and West Bank was Palestine. I'm a Palestinian. From 21 until 48, I carried a Palestinian passport. There was no such thing in this area as Jews and Arabs and Palestinians. There were Jews and Arabs.
यूनिवर्सल टेलीविजन को सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें, उसके बाद बेल बटन पे क्लिक करें और अपने कमेंट्स के सेक्शन में अपने कीमती जो ख्यालात का इजहार ज़रूर